Greetings, greetings. We are going to give everybody a chance to come in to the meditation, and then after that, we will get started. I am going to get us some visual aid pulled out for this meditation. This is the deck that I'm going to be using for visual aid, and I actually do have this particular deck linked in my Amazon shop. Highly, highly, highly recommended and definitely useful when you're doing the type of work that we're going to do tonight, which is protective work, the work of destroying fear, and the work of making sure that you are sitting fully in your power in the universe. So, Kali Oracle, highly recommended. But while we're waiting for everyone to come in, I'm going to pull a visual aid from that deck. And everybody else just come in and greet. And let's get this started. You know what? Let me. Oops. So this is the link to the Amazon shop for anyone who wants to go and get the deck. Yeah. All right. Let's see what we got here. Greetings, greetings, greetings. For those of you all who are just coming in, this is what we're going to use for our visual aid tonight. Kali Oracle. I did put a link in the chat to my Amazon shop because I do have this particular deck linked in my shop. This deck is good for protection. This deck is good for summoning your own dark magic and dark energy. This deck is good for reminding yourself that you are not helpless in the universe. So that's why this is the deck that we're going to use for our visual aid for tonight. Let's see. Let's let the universe pull one to us. Okay, I like that one. I like these two a lot. That one is good, but I feel like there's a better one in here. Let's see. Yes, that's the one I wanted. Greetings. Okay, we got our visual aid. So you may have noticed that for this particular meditation, the image that I created, the AI image that I created, is an image of the Hindu goddess Kali. Kali is a Black goddess. One of the foundational realities that my classes and my teachings stand on is the reality that not all Black people come from Africa, and India is one of the places that Black people come from as well. Of course, the deeper reality to that is that every beginning, every original civilization was a Black civilization. So, with that in mind, tonight, the visual aid that we used for the picture that I created, for the picture for this meditation, as well as the visual aids that I'm going to show you up on the screen before we start the meditation, will be of the ferocious Black Mother Goddess Kali. One of the things that I want us to use this meditation for is tapping into our ferocity, our God given and goddess imbued right to protection and to self preservation. That is a huge part of what this meditation is to be used for. In my life, and I'm sure in yours as well, I have been socialized my entire young life to believe that if I required or desired protection, that I had to get that protection from something outside of me, that I didn't necessarily have the strength or the power to protect myself. That was, that's the socialization that most of us were given, right? That is how this particular world presents itself, as though if you are a woman or a feminine being, that protection comes from something outside of you. Now, this was in contradiction to how I was raised and who I was raised by. So if you've taken any of my classes, or if you've read any of my work or heard any of my lectures, then you know that the person who raised me was my mother, Lalita Fields Morgan Ibarra Tarun. And my mother was, she was a very small, sometimes delicate, sometimes frail woman. She used to tell me how many days of school she missed as a child because she was kind of sickly as a child. And even as an adult, she had lots of physical ailments that she suffered from. However, you've heard me talk about, and when I say tiny, I'm 5'2". My mother was at least a head smaller than me in height, and smaller than me overall. By the time I was 14, I was taller than my mother. So you've heard me tell stories about how this woman ferociously protected us as children from the Ku Klux Klan. She protected us from racist neighbors in the neighborhoods that we moved in. She protected us from the racist school system. Me and my baby sister were the first in our family to go to white schools after schools were integrated. My older siblings were significantly older than us, so they had had the luxury of going to the Black schools. By the time we entered into the school system, the schools had been integrated. So my baby sister and I were the first to go to white schools, and that situation was terrible. But my mother protected us. So you've heard me tell stories about this feminine, tiny, delicate, sometimes frail woman stepping fully into herself, being fully present in her body to the extent that she could strike fear in the hearts of racists in the town where the Ku Klux Klan was created. right? So as I give you the tools, as we tonight meditate on the type of mindset that is needed to eat negative energy, to bring yourself out of a state of fearfulness, I am doing this in the way that I was raised, right? I'm going to give you that energy of the women who raised me, of the women who gave me the protection that was required to survive my childhood. That's the energy I'm going to be giving to you. All right? Now, this is a meditation. As a meditation, I want you to use it and to tap into it and to put on your earphones and listen to it when you need to be filled with courage, and also when you are doing the magical work of eating any negativity that is being thrown at you. It is a meditation and it is a spell. It is spell work. It is protective spelled work. My suggestion and how I imagined it being used when I conceived of the idea is as something that you listen to at night. So I will be making more meditations. I don't know when, I can't put a timeline on it at this time. So I'll be making more meditations, but this particular one, I imagine you listening to it at night in those times that you know that something negative is being thrown at you, and you know that you need to take that negativity and use it to, what is the word that I'm looking for? To fuel yourself, right? To empower yourself. All right, hold on, you all. Let me see what's going on. I'm gonna send the link out to some people. Are saying that they can't access the link that they got in their email, so I'm gonna send it out to them now. Okay, it's not coming up. Let me pull it from here, and I'm just gonna email it to them. All right. So I want us to start by, first of all, make sure you're in a comfortable position. I would suggest being seated or lying down as a position that you should be in for this particular meditation. I want us to begin this meditation by re-envisioning ourselves. I think that it is useful to know and to understand that you are beautiful, that you are alluring, that you are sexual, that you are sensual, that you are attractive, that you are magnetic, that you are irresistible. I think it is essential to know that. As a Black woman, as a Black femme, it's essential to know those things. Unfortunately, in this society, we have been made to believe that beautiful things are helpless and beautiful things are weak and beautiful things are prey. Tonight, we are going to begin by remembering that the essence of the Mother Goddess, which is the most beautiful being, which is the origin of beauty, is both beautiful and deadly at the same time. When we hear about the Anago deity Oshun, what we know about Oshun is that she is considered the creatrix and the carrier of beauty, that her energy is that of irresistibility, right? What we know about the African diasporic deity Mamiwata is that she cannot be resisted. Her call and her pull cannot be resisted. She's the most alluring, the most desirable being in the universe. And what we know about Oshun is that in addition to being all of this, she's also the head of the witches. The witches are called Awaniya Afinju Eje, our mothers, the beautiful birds that eat blood, right? Oshun sits at the head of that particular council. What we know about Mamiwata is that Mamiwata is the origin of the siren, the beauty that lures you in, but with an absolutely ravenous appetite for your body and for your soul. So while you are always, Black woman, Black femme, to sit in your beauty, while you are always to bask in your beauty, while you are always to make a home in your beauty and to cultivate your beauty and to love your beauty, it is our culture and it is our background and it is our reality to understand that when you look at something beautiful, you're looking at something dangerous. Those two things are the same. So, the first thing that we're going to do tonight is to get some visual aid on that part of ourselves that we're going to bring forward in this meditation. The visual aid that we're using for tonight is the Black goddess that comes out of Indus Kush, also known as India, whose name is Kali. She is who you will see as she is the thumbnail for this particular live. She is the face of this particular meditation. And I have some other images of her taken from the Kali Oracle deck that you can get in my Amazon shop that we're going to look at tonight so that we can bring forth this energy in ourselves. Before we look at Kali, let me explain to you when I became spiritually acquainted with this particular deity, with this goddess. I had returned from living abroad. I had taken my children and we had gone to live abroad in Barbados. And we returned. And when we returned, my siblings wanted me to be the caretaker for my mother. My mother had become very ill with Alzheimer's. And so I was at home and I had become the caretaker for my mother. And I was a roommate to a sister friend of mine. And normally, because of the emotional immaturity of my siblings and my family, I don't spend a lot of time around my family. I spend holidays with them, special occasions, birthdays, graduations, and things of that nature. But I don't really spend a lot of time with them because we weren't raised to be emotionally mature and even to be particularly kind and compassionate with one another. So, being in this position of being the primary caretaker for my mother, who lived with my older sister at the time and who, was frequently visited by my other siblings, had me be seeing my family daily, right? I was seeing them daily. This was something that I hadn't done for decades. So I was in the position where I was seeing them daily. And as I saw them more, their insulting behavior just became more, right? It grew. The more I saw them, the more the insults increased, right? And what took it to the point that for me was over the top was when my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, started to get in on the insults, right? Because these are people who raised me and these are people I grew up around. To be honest with you, I'm used to my siblings insulting me. That doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. That doesn't mean that it's not painful, but I'm used to it. So I probably overlooked it, you know, much more than I should have. So anyway, the insults were just building and building, and they were getting worse, and they were getting more bold, and they were just getting more painful, and it was getting ridiculous. And then my brother-in-law got in on it, and it was just, an insult stew every time I was over there, which was every day. So finally, I had just had enough. And I was at my wit's end, and it had gotten to the point where it was making me depressed. Now, you have to understand the story, you have to understand birth order. So I am the next to the youngest. There are 7 of us. I am number 6. By the time I was born, my parents did not even they didn't even feel compelled to name me. My siblings named me, right? So that's where I fall in the birth order. I'm the baby. My siblings were pretty much entrusted with raising me for the entirety of my life. And so, with that being the case, my way of approaching them was as though they were authorities, right? And so I had a history of not talking back to them, not responding to their insults, and basically just sitting quietly while they did whatever they were doing, right? I kind of put them in the position of parents. So it had reached its hilt. I was getting depressed. It was getting to be too much. I was hating to go over there every day. It was making everything difficult when really all that I was supposed to be doing was, taking care of my mom. And it had just become too much. So it happened at the time that a brother friend that I have, a beloved brother friend, was offering readings. He does readings. I think some kind of, I think he does mostly intuitive readings. He is a priest in the Kemetic tradition, coming out of ancient Kemet that people now call Egypt. And so I reached out to him and asked him if he would do a reading for me. And he said he would love to, of course. So we get on the telephone, he's doing the reading, and I'm explaining my situation to him. And he's saying, well, the way to stop someone from insulting you is to defend yourself when they insult you. And I was like, oh, I hadn't thought of that, and I don't normally interact with these people like that. And he said, okay, but you're going to have to, or they're going to continue to insult you. And I said, okay, I don't know how I'm even going to get myself into a state to begin to defend myself from these people. And so he gave me an assignment. And he said, every night, I want you to see yourself as the goddess Kali, the beautiful black goddess Kali who marches through the universe wearing a necklace of the skulls of her enemy, all of her enemies, who is normally depicted standing with one foot on the body of her enemy and his head dripping blood in her hands, right? And when we don't see her like that, we see her like the image that I created for this particular meditation, with her tongue out of her mouth red with blood because she has devoured her enemies. So he told me, picture yourself as Kali. Every night before you fall asleep, envision yourself as Kali. And the me that you see before you now is the result of that particular reading. I began to every night see myself as Kali, see myself devouring my enemies, understand myself to be feasting upon the souls and the bodies of my enemies. And I became ferocious. So everything that you hear from me now, the way that I speak of defending yourself, the way that I speak of looking out for yourself, the way that I speak of protecting yourself and your children and your household, that comes from that divination and that visualization spell that he taught me. So I walk and I live and I interact now in that Kali energy. I invoked the Kali within me, and that is what you experience of me most of the time. All right? So that's why we're going to work with Mama Kali tonight. So this particular form of Kali, get my reading glasses out, is called Trauma Nagmo. Take that vision in. You see her with the skulls. She is blue because she is so black that she is blue. You see the bowl of hearts that she is about to devour, right? And she looks treacherous. She looks dangerous. She looks deadly. So that's the first vision of Kali. Second vision of Kali is a take on the one that I just described. So this is how we normally see her. So she has the head of her enemy in one hand. She has her royal machete, her cutlass, in the other hand. She is wearing her necklace of skulls, and under her feet, normally in this image, she's standing on the body of that enemy whose head she's holding. So this is the next image we'll be using. And the final image, which is similar to the one I created for this meditation. Oh, I didn't give you the name of this image of Kali, is Smashana. Smashana. The final image, which is similar to the one that I used and created for this class, is Yuga Shakti. And this is the image of the beautiful blue-black Kali with her tongue red with the blood of her enemies. So we give all praise and honor to our mothers who are our example of how to be ferocious. We are blessed to have such examples. All right. So now we are going to start the meditation. So this is a meditation. It is not a class. So it will not be as long as a class. It is, I think it's probably about 10 to 15 minutes long. I have not timed it. At the end of the meditation, we will disperse, but you will have access to it when you need it. All right, let's lean in. Get comfortable. Quiet your breathing. So much of the time we are breathing very shallow. So when I say quiet your breathing, I mean regulate your breathing so that you're breathing nice and deep. Let your stomach, your diaphragm be filling up with air, and then let the air go out slowly, slowly, slowly. All right? Eat negative energy meditation. I forgive myself for all of the times I have not defended myself, and the times I decided that the safety and health of others was more important than mine. I cease and desist playing small, sniveling, and whining to the universe. I stand the fuck up and I tear into the part of this world, of this universe, of this life that is mine. As the mother of the all, I have more right to the earth and her riches, and I am more entitled to the joy of existence than any other person. As the mother of all, I have more right to the earth and her riches, and I am more entitled to the joy of existence than anyone else on earth. The universe is not waiting to punish me. Negativity is not evidence of my wrongdoing. I am irresistible, and so, like everything else, negativity is attracted to me. I am the earthly representation of our mothers who eat blood. I am the original vampire. I am the original Nosferatu, the undead. I exist between life and death, and when it is necessary, I will satisfy my hunger with the blood of those who attack me. I do not feel fear, I create fear. I do not feel fear, I create fear. I have never been defenseless. I have never been weak. I have never been helpless. I am the black magic that makes them shiver. I am the witch that they run from. I am the monster in their nightmares. I do not exist in a realm with cheeks to be turned or absolution to be granted by forgiving. I exist in reality. And here, there are consequences to your actions. I inhale deeply and fill my ravenous belly with the energy of those who try to destroy me, with their abuse, with their bullying, with their oppression, with their lies. I feel the energy that they thought would destroy me, fortifying every cell and strengthening me. I exhale and then pause and swallow their personal power. I lick my bloody lips and ingest their smear campaigns that have made me legendary. Their weapons that have proven me to be immortal, and their lives that are reduced to shambles in the absence of my ashe. I savor the deliciousness of their envious, jealous eyes upon me, and I shine bright and twirl, making sure that they take in every glorious angle as I devour their attention and feed my power with it. And then I laugh and ask them, didn't your mama tell you about the boogeyman? Didn't your mama warn you about the goblins and the haints and the sukayans? Didn't you grow up watching fairy tales full of scary, dark women who feasted on the bodies and the souls of their enemies? I know you done been taught that ones like me can make your world crumble with a bowl of spaghetti and a poof of goofa dust. You know good and well, existence don't play about me. But you tried it. So I had to sit your soul right next to the crawdaddies and the hot water cornbread to now be used for the nourishment and the strength of my body. Immeasurable darkness is my rock and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? All right, that is tonight's meditation. We will end with our Kali visual aids. If you guys have suggestions on other meditations you would like for me to do, please feel free to email me. I will see you when we next meet here. Peace, guys. Enjoy your evening.